Hey guys, my name is Jason Cooper. I'm doing a persuasive speech here on urban and home gardening. So I just want to talk a little bit about that. Try to persuade you to, help you understand why it's a good idea and why it's also healthy and good for the community. So yeah, the purpose of this is to persuade you. In general, I want to have some of the students here kind of think about their everyday lives and why you might be able to use some of these practices at your house, and hopefully change the culture and the idea of how we garden and some of the local foods we have, here. So home and urban gardening is, kind of creating a garden in your own house if you have the space for it, even if you have a little porch or lots around the community that we could use to grow our own produce. If it's something that we can grow locally, this really helps out eliminate waste. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. First things that we can benefit from urban gardening and local gardening is our nutrition, food security. We can also use this as a form of exercise. This is also good for your mental health as well as improving the environment. So there's a lot of good reasons why urban gardening and home gardening is good for you. So let's talk about it. One of the problems here is, purchasing produce from the supermarkets is good, but these, produce are usually coming from other states or other countries, which can create a lot of waste. It's not necessarily fresh, and it can kind of be expensive. If for some reason we were to waste the food, that's obviously a lot of waste in labor, in fuel, in nutrition to grow that, water to get that there. So there's a lot of waste going on there. So that's why urban gardening is very beneficial to the community. Majority of society has accepted that going to the supermarket is the best way to get your food. Sometimes when you are going to the supermarket, you have to buy in an abundance of food, and that goes to waste. For an individual like myself living solo, I don't necessarily need to get a big bag of something because it tends to go to waste before I have the opportunity to use it. If I were to have my own garden, I wouldn't be wasting that, and the food would be fresh and very nutritious. So yeah, people are forced into buying prepackaged goods, which is sometimes not what we need. Urban gardens can kind of help promote that. Let's see here. Other produce foods that are sold in supermarkets are usually not extremely healthy for you. A lot of big companies are all over the shelves. They dominate the shelves, so we're kind of forced to buy that. It's relatively inexpensive, but it's not necessarily nutritious. So let's see here. We can typically buy some of these foods, or some of the foods that we buy, such as produce. We can go to farmers markets, or you can grow in your own backyard relatively easy once you actually get things going. And let's see here, how urban gardens can prevent waste. Like I said, if you're going to be transporting foods, from one state to another, and that goes to waste, it's a waste of fuel, it's a waste of labor, it's a waste of somebody's time, so that's not necessarily efficient. Ultimately, it wastes people's time, so we don't want to do that. Urban gardens can kind of help, create a good community, a good cohesive community around something that's very beneficial. One of the solutions I think that we could do in order to kind of help promote this is put urban gardens and home gardens into our education system at a young age. Also, several different classes you can do in botany, in your phys ed class, like home ec. You can also do it in biology, so we can kind of actually have a garden, teach our young kids, how this is really actually easy to do, teaches them what nutritious foods is. So I think that we can kind of tie that into it. I also think that city officials and government officials can promote, urban gardens being put around the community in areas where we're not necessarily using the land. This could be good for the environment as well as kind of create a greenery. So I think we should have some sort of incentive breaks or maybe some tax breaks for that. This will kind of help create the movement for more people to get involved into this. So I think that's one thing that we can kind of do about it. We can definitely become more educated on why nutritious food is better for your health. And when more people are doing it, more people will kind of jump on the bandwagon. Let's see here. Some other things that I think we can do is just kind of create the overall knowledge, spread the knowledge of how easy it is to create a garden. It might be a little bit of work at first, but when you start getting the benefits from your own food and you're seeing what you're eating, that's very rewarding. It's also good exercise for people to go out and garden. You kind of get outside, get some sun, but you're also, kind of being active, so to say, for your own food. You'd be less likely to waste food, which is good for everybody. Urban gardening is something that's kind of taken, off in certain states, but it's just not super big. So I think this is one reason why I think we should start doing it. One thing I would encourage you to do is take a look at, your patio or your backyard, see where you can kind of, have a garden and participate in that and kind of become more of a green thumb. And I think this would help benefit your health. Also, kind of help share with the community how easy it is. So I encourage you to go ahead and take a look at what the challenges are for that. One of the other solutions I think we could do is maybe reduce the cost of some of the equipment that's necessary in order for people to get into the gardening as well. So yeah, I hope you learned something from this speech. Again, my name is Jason, and thank you for watching.